to the channel, guys. It's PR Gaming, and as requested, this is my first video in English. Now, as you guys know, English is not my first language, so if this is hard to understand or if there is anything I could be doing better, please feel free to leave a comment down below so I can keep working on bringing you guys the best content possible. But without further ado, let's get into it. And today is all about the best faction for war. From faction bonuses to troop special abilities, in this video we'll teach you all you need to know about picking the right faction to go to war. Many people believe that the faction is just for the starting bonuses, but this is not the case in Call of Dragons. In this game, more than the faction bonuses, you want to take a look at the troop special abilities. This will definitely better help you decide which faction is the best one for you. Most people start with the League of Order because Waldir is the best epic out of the 3 starting heroes. So let's start there, alright? The League of Order will give us a 3% magic defense, and mages are some of the strongest troops at the start of the server, so this is pretty good. And it'll also give us a 10% gather speed, which is super strong for upgrading, but not for war. Now, let's take a look at the Spring Wardens. This will give us a 5% more speed, which is super good for PvP fights, and it also give us a 5% healing speed. Like, who don't want to heal faster, right? Like, everybody wants to heal faster, so this is super good as well. In my opinion, faction bonuses alone, Spring Warden has the best ones. And last but not least, let's take a look at the Wilderbergs. And they will provide us with a 3% physical attack. I want to stop there for a second because I just want to point out the fact that their axemen do physical damage, their spearmen do physical damage, their calves do physical damage, and their wyvern riders also do physical damage. That's 4 out of your 5 troops are dealing physical attack, so they will all benefit from this. Also, you get a 10% destruction engineering. Now, let's talk about this for a second, because there is a cap on how fast you can destroy or build in this game. With this in mind, most likely there will be enough people building or destroying to make this completely useless. So just keep that in mind, guys. Now, let's do what we came here for. Let's start talking about these troops and what makes them so special. Since we're in the League of Order already, let's talk about the Celestial. They're a magic flying troop, and their special ability is that they will increase their own attack by 5% every 4 seconds as long as you're not moving. And since their attack range is pretty far, you should be able to take advantage of this buff really easily. Another great thing is that the Celestial base attack is way higher than your regular magic troops. Talking about magic troops, let's go look at our Vestals and see what are they providing and why are they so special, right? So the Vestals, every 3 seconds while you're in the fight, right, they will boost one nearby March HP 20% for 15 seconds. This is a super good buff, and you can keep your tanks healthy in the process. Now let's move on to the infantry. And then if you take a look at the infantry, right, they all have the same buff for all 3 factions, the same skills. So looking at the skills Rampage, it'll give us a burst of speed when you're getting close to the target that you're attacking. Once you attack this target, you cut down the march speed 75% for 8 seconds. And on top of that, they can interrupt Cav Unyielding Rush, which we're going to talk about here in a second, alright? And all of this can be triggered every 12 seconds. Now, the second skill is kind of useless, but you gain 15% engineering boost while building, but remember, building speeds has a cap, so kind of useless here. If we take a look at the third skill, now this is a good one. When you lose 3% of troops, you increase your physical defense 1.5% up to 50% physical defense boost. This will make your infantry very, very tanky. And last but not least, you also have a 50% counterattack on ranged units. This only works on marksmen, which is the archers, and your mages. It's the only two troops that will get 50% counterattack. Now, let's get into everyone's favorite, the Cavs, right? And why are they so special? So, their special skill for the Cavs, they just let you do crazy instant damage. Unwielding Rush, right? Not only makes you faster when you're getting close to your enemy, but he also, if you rush mages or archers, you will instantly gain 1,000 rage, letting you use your active skill instantly. And you can trigger this every 12 seconds. Now, this is crazy, guys, okay? Let me give you an example. Let's say your active skill from your hero does 8k damage, and your artifact does another 10k damage, right? That means you're gonna be putting out 18k damage to that enemy troop before they even attack you once, which is crazy. That's GG's. And last but not least, you'll have a 50% counterattack on ranged units, which again is your marksmen and your mages. The last troop we're gonna talk about is gonna be the ballistas, right? And then if we look at the ballistas special skills, right, they increase their normal attack 10% every 4 seconds if you're not moving. This is crazy. If we think about it, you can stack your normal attack. Your heroes are doing crazy skill damage because Nika and Kenara are some of the hardest hitting heroes in the game. Plus, you are stacking counter attack on top of everything. People have a misconception of how to use ballistas. When you use ballistas, you sit there and you let people hit you. They will literally kill themselves just hitting you. Plus, you're stacking normal attack damage every 4 seconds for not moving. So you're getting buffs all around. This is a pretty good marksman unit. Alright guys, I just switched to my farm account to bring you the review on the Spring Warden's troop skills. We're gonna start with the archers like we have on screen. Now I do believe this is the weakest archers out of all of them in the game. So let's talk about it, right? Their special skill, they will reduce their own speed 2% just to gain a 5% physical attack boost. If you really look at it, we already spoke about the ballistas in the League of Order. Their skill is way better than this. And further in the video, we're going to talk about the Wilderbergs, and they are way better as well. So I do believe this is the worst marksman unit in the game. Moving on to the magic units in the Spring Wardens. These have a similar boost to the one in the League of Order, but this one is giving us defense as opposed to health. So every 3 seconds while you're in a fight, you gain 20% defense for 15 seconds to a nearby legion. So if you send 5 marches out, they can upkeep 100% of the time 20% defense boost in all your marches. That's pretty good. Now, like we mentioned before, we're not gonna go over the infantry skills because they are all the same as the ones we previously spoke. Alright, moving on to the Elk Riders. This is where it gets interesting for the Spring Wardens. The Elk Riders is your range cav, and this is very important for you to know. They will attack at a medium distance. So you need to be careful what kind of heroes you send with them. If the hero active skill does not work at a medium range, they will not do any damage during the fight. But their special ability is that they gain a 30% physical attack boost when you enter fight for 10 seconds. Now, the downside to this is that the cooldown, as opposed to 12 seconds like we used to see on every other one, is a 2-minute cooldown. So you get a huge damage boost, but then you got to wait 2 minutes to get it again, pretty much. So take it as you will for what it is. And last but not least, we're gonna talk about the Eagles, baby, right? And this is actually your cav unit. They will provide you with unyielding rush that we previously spoke about, right? When you start a fight and you attack a mage unit or a marksman unit, you get 1000 rage. You can instantly activate your active skill. It doesn't get no better than that. So if you're a cav main, Spring Wardens allows you to have the Elk Riders for regular fighting at a safer distance while still having the cav benefits, but also lets you use your Eagles to ambush players. They're completely different playstyles, but they're both using cav. Alright guys, so the last faction that we need to talk about will be the Wilderbergs. Like we got on screen, so I had just switched to my third farm account so we can show you all the skills that we're working with. So like we mentioned before, the infantry is the same exact skills as we previously broke down for the League of Order. So we're going to leave those alone and we're going to move straight on to the Spearmen or the Archer unit for the Wilderbergs. And what do they do? So these guys can do a ton of damage, right? So they get a flat 5% all damage boost. No requirements, no standing still, no nothing. Just 5% all damage. And this will apply to your active skills, to your normal attacks, and even to your counter attack. Now, if we move on to the Wyvern Riders, the reason why I cannot show you in their barracks is because my farms are not level 16 yet. So I can't show you it, but I sure can give you the information. Now, looking at the Wyvern Riders, they will increase their HP by 2% and the hero skill damage by 6% every 4 seconds, as long as you don't move. This is a good boost, but not with this specific troop type. This is not one that you want to be standing still with. You want to be moving around. So, moving on to the mages. And even though I use League of Order as my main, I do like these mages a lot, right? So let's talk about these mages and what they do. Every 3 seconds, gives a troop nearby a 20% attack boost for 15 seconds. So now, not only you're doing a lot of damage, you also providing either your other marches or your clanmates with more damage every 3 seconds. And for the last one, we have to talk about the Cavs, the Wolf Riders, and what do they do? And they have a special ability called Primal Rampage, right? This will give yourself and the enemy legion 5% more severely wounded troops. This is a really powerful effect. You also get Unyielding Rush that we already spoke about. You get that 1000 rage to instantly activate your skill. So, now that we talked about all of them, which one is the best faction for war? So, there is many opinions that you can have, in this being informative video. I'm just gonna give you my opinion on what I think is best. From the information in this video, you can definitely decide for yourself what's best for you. But the answer for that would be that if you are a Cavs player, Spring Wardens is the best for you hands down. You have a range Cav March, and you also have an ambush Cavs. And let's not forget about the 5%. Let's not forget about the 5% march speed and heal speed. That's the best faction bonuses out there pretty much. So you get that all with the Spring Wardens. Now, in my mind, if you spend a lot of money in the game or you are one of the strongest people in your server, definitely the Spring Wardens are worth looking into. All your troops are providing attack boost. And let's not forget about the Cavs adding that 5% severely wounded troops, which works extremely well if you're a high spender in the game. And last, we got the League of Order. This will give us two magic units that attack from afar and do tons of damage. This is great for people that don't spend a lot in the game but still want to be useful and put out tons of damage. Now guys, if this video helped you or it was informative, please consider subscribing for more content like this.